Jenny Tapp, here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Guys, how we doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Jenny. I'm doing wonderful.
Wonderful.
I don't think you are. I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but the nation's top critics are killing LeBron's Space Jam, which opens today. I'm sorry to inform you of that, Mr. Sharp.
No, Twitter is killing LeBron James.
No, the top critics are, and we're going to discuss that in just a few minutes right here on this show, unfortunately for you.
Unfortunately for you. So maybe not so wonderful, maybe not yet. Oh, and Shannon, I don't know if you're going to feel good about this. We have to begin with the one, the only, the GOAT to start the show, because believe it or not, the legend of Tom Brady keeps on growing. We all know the GOAT had a minor surgery after the Super Bowl to clean up a knee injury, but now details have emerged saying the issue was much more serious. According to multiple reports, Brady apparently played through a torn MCL for the entire season with the Bucs. So Shannon, I ask you, how impressive was this?
First of all, details did not emerge. Tom Brady teams leaked this information. They did not emerge out of all of a sudden. This information came out of the sky before the season's about to start. The following season is about to get up underway. But here's the thing. It's impressive, but I'm not that impressed by it because he plays a position that's not reliant on physical ability, his ability to move around. Now, because it relies on him to be subtle, not sudden. Now, Lamar Jackson playing with this, Kyler Murray playing with this would be more impressive, Skip. I think the more impressive thing for me that Tom Brady did last year is uprooting his family, leaving one team after 20 years, going to a new team. Although the team was immensely talented, he goes to this team. It's in a COVID season. He doesn't have the normal. The one thing that we know about Tom Brady, he likes the monotony of doing things over and over and over again, being able to show up at the same time, being able to get his throwing in, being able to meet like he normally would. But because of protocols, the COVID protocols that the NFL set in place, he was not able to go through a normal, what Tom Brady would like to think is a normal season. So that, in him going there, playing as well as he did, getting his team to a Super Bowl in his own building and winning that was more impressive to me than him playing with a torn MCL, Skip, because he's not reliant on his legs to move around and make plays like that. Like I said, he's a subtle player, not a sudden player. So all things being equal, I believe what he accomplished outside of the injury was more impressive than him playing with the injury. Because, Skip, let this sink in. He had 401 completions. That's only one fewer than he had at any point in time in a season. Lets you know the level of talent that he's playing with. Even though he was 43 years of age, he was still able to get it done. So I believe because he plays a position and he had an injury and the position that he played, he's not reliant on his legs to run around like some quarterbacks are. I believe that's less impressive than what he actually accomplished going to a different team after 20 years and winning the Super Bowl. But lo and behold, right on cue, now a new season, we're about to do this. Because what you're trying to do, Skip Bayless is going to come out here and bang on the table. He beat Aaron Rodgers. He beat Drew Brees. He beat Patrick Mahomes on a torn MCL when the guy was never that mobile. So it didn't require him to do anything out of the ordinary, in which he didn't do. We knows that when he sees a hit coming, he's going to do the fainting goat. He's going to fall to the ground. He's not taking unnecessary punishment, and rightfully so. But I believe the most impressive thing he did was leaving one location after 20 years, going to a different location and winning the Super Bowl. That's more impressive to me than him playing with a torn MCL, considering that he's not a mobile quarterback and he's not trying to move and leave the pocket anyway.
My turn. He beat Aaron Rodgers. He beat Drew Brees. He beat Patrick Mahomes on a torn MCL. Are you kidding me?
See, I knew it.
Thank you for setting me up for that. Shannon Sharp. You just refuse to give this man full credit for anything. You just discount and undercut everything this man ever attempts to achieve in the league in which you starred and in which you now represent in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You will just not give in to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. Am I correct about that?
Skip, I said it was impressive. I said it just wasn't the most impressive thing that he accomplished. You told me yourself, when people have torn meniscus, you tell me yourself, you've had that injury and you've gone out and gone and run. So how difficult is it?
Different ball game. We're talking about the ligaments. There are 3 big ligaments, as you well know, that stabilize the knee.
Yes.
And if one of them is ruptured or torn, you have no more stability in your knee. It's going to wobble from side to side, and it's going to buckle under you when you least expect it. The cartilage tear is different because it will just catch in the mechanism of your knee unexpectedly, and it will bite you. It will be excruciating for a moment, but you can sort of shake it off. It will just be more of an irritant, an annoyance after a while, as we saw Joel Embiid attempt to do in the playoff run when he played with a small tear in his cartilage. And that's a whole different ball game from this ball game. So my conclusion to this is this closes the case that last year for Tom Brady was the single greatest season accomplishment of anyone in the history of your league. And you detailed much of it, but this is the, if you will, the icing on top. This is the case closer, because to your point, it was a COVID season. It was a COVID off season. He joins a brand new team, a team that had gone 7-9 the year before, a franchise known as the Succaneers, which had the worst winning percentage in all of sports for its history, a new coach, a new coaching staff, and with little to no offseason preparation and 0 preseason games, he dives into the fray. They lost the opener at New Orleans, predictably, because the NFL threw them right into the fire. And they had their ups and they had their shocking downs, a lot of them on national television, such as New Orleans again on a Sunday night at Tampa, and it was a mismatch. And yet Brady slowly but surely created the Patriot way in Tampa Bay. He brought that team to a boil, including, as you always point out, the defense. And everything began to click right on schedule when Tom Brady is always the biggest money in the playoffs. And they went to Washington and won, and they went to Breeze and righted the wrong at New Orleans. And they went to Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers had his first ever home NFC championship game. And Brady beat Rodgers at Lambeau, which led to Brady outplaying Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, albeit in his home stadium back in Tampa. What an extraordinary achievement, topped only by the breaking news, and I'm going to agree with you, this had to come from Brady's camp. I guess there's a chance it came from somebody inside the Buccaneers organization, but it actually makes the Buccaneers look pretty shaky, because not once did Tom Brady appear on the injury report for a knee that I'm aware of. So will they get fined for this? Very possibly they will get fined.
That's a small consolation, Skip. After winning the Super Bowl, whatever you find me, I'm good.
Okay. The other little piece of information that shocked me was that, according to whoever leaked the source, leaked the news, is that Brady tore his MCL in New England at the end of that disaster that befell him and his team at the end of the previous season. Obviously, they lost the home playoff game to Tennessee. I don't know when that was. The story didn't indicate when that was. But I believe the story because Rick Stroud is the reporter who has covered that team for years in Tampa, for the Tampa Times now.
Times. Yep.
And I know Rick Stroud, and he is top notch. And if he reported it, I'm taking it to my bank. So if he reported that Brady had torn it at some point late in the season in New England, I'll buy that. The other shock to me, Shannon, is if you rupture or tear your MCL, why wouldn't you get it fixed last offseason ahead of your first season in Tampa? Is it possible he just didn't want that out there because he was a free agent and he thought maybe that would ruin his chances of landing a new gig? Maybe.
There's so much